Personal finance. When you hear that word, you either jump in excitement or crumble in your sheets. Whether you're an experienced pro running a spreadsheet to track every dollar, or you're a complete beginner that doesn't know the difference between a Roth IRA and a 401k, wherever you fall on that line, the hardest thing is knowing where to start. We've seen the articles and quick social media bites that cutting out your daily cup of coffee will somehow turn you into a millionaire. But when you're in a deep financial hole facing student loan debt or credit card bills, it seems like this advice is worthless.
I declare bankruptcy!
When it comes to personal finance, we've been ingrained to only focus on the small wins, like cutting out your daily Starbucks coffee or finding a savings account with the highest interest rate. Now, I'm not saying those things aren't good things to do, but instead of worrying about the small wins, when was the last time you focused on a big win? Like asking yourself, how much of my take-home pay am I putting towards savings each month and how much am I putting towards my investment accounts? Or what is my expected payoff date for my debt? For the majority of us, we fail to ask the big picture questions that will get us closer to financial freedom and instead get stuck debating minutia. In this video, I'll be sharing with you 5 lessons from Ramit Sethi's book, I Will Teach You to Be Rich, that will help you take control of your money. The thing I love about Ramit's take on personal finance is that he wants you to focus on the big wins when it comes to money, and he spends a lot of time focusing on the psychology about our money habits. Lesson number 1, defining a rich life. Now, the first lesson is more philosophical rather than a tangible action, but have you ever once taken the time to ask yourself what your rich life can be? Your rich life could be anything you want. It could be that you have enough money to spend on all the shoes and cars that you want, but it could also be that you have enough money to take an international vacation each year. The beauty of this is that you get to define what your rich life is. This did wonders for me because I never really took the time to ask myself what my rich life could be. For me, my rich life is being able to travel wherever I want to and have the flexibility to make my own work schedule. Before you get into any of the details of personal finance, you need to define what that life will look like for you. I relate this back to priming your brain or manifesting your goals. If you don't write them down on paper, it becomes much harder to achieve them. You need to know what you're striving towards. Lesson number 2, list out all your debt and income. Do you know how much money you have in your savings or checkings account? Or how about your investment account? How much do you owe exactly in student loans? If you asked me this question 4 years ago, I couldn't give you the answer to it. But when I landed my first job with NBC Sports in August of 2020, a couple weeks before I started, I actually took out a piece of paper and listed out how much I had in my checkings and savings account and how much I owed in debt. It was actually really worrying to see that number pop up in my face, but something powerful happened when I started to write it down. It gave me the strength to make a plan to fight back and to pay off that debt. Too many of us go without knowing what is actually in our account. We just hope one day that the debt will just vanish, just like we hope one day we will have more money in our savings account. But without actually knowing what's there, you can never make progress towards achieving your goals. Ramit made a great point when he compared losing weight to personal finance. When it comes to losing weight, we know that going to the gym daily and having a strict diet are the key components to losing weight. But we love to get caught up in what gym to go to or what workout gear we should use. We fail to act on the big picture items. The same goes with personal finance. If you aren't listing out or tracking what you're spending and how much you owe, then you can never make any progress towards achieving your goals. Lesson number 3, building a conscious spending plan. One of the reasons this has become one of my favorite personal finance books is that Ramit is a big fan of getting people to start somewhere and get 85% of the way there, rather than starting and striving for perfection and never getting started. Relating it back to that point, this is where the building the conscious spending plan comes in. He has it categorized like this: fixed costs, this includes your rent, utilities, debt, etc., 50 to 60%, investments 10%, savings goals 5 to 10%, and guilt-free spending money 20 to 35%. So for example, let's say you make $48,000 per year after taxes and your monthly take-home pay is $4,000 a month. Using the conscious spending plan, your numbers would look like this: fixed costs 60%, $2,400, investments 10%, $400, savings goals 10%, $400, and guilt-free spending 20%, $800. Now that you have these percentages, it's good to now start tracking how much you spent in the last 3 months. The goal isn't to find every small expense, but to get a ballpark figure about the amount of money you're spending. This can give you a good idea whether you need to start cutting back or whether you're right on track with your finances. Let's say you ran the numbers with the example I provided earlier and you realize that you're now spending $900 in your guilt-free spending plan. You have 2 options. Your first option is to get overwhelmed and do nothing, or your second option is to focus on your big wins. Your big wins should focus on cutting the cost on your highest categories in your guilt-free plan. Let's say when you did the numbers, you find out that eating out, going to the club, and shopping are your biggest categories. Now you should focus on sustainably and slowly cutting down those costs each month. Ramit gives a great example to follow if you've been spending $500 a month on eating out. Month 1, you cut it down to $475. Month 2, $450. Month 3, $400. Month 4, $350. Month 5, $300. And month 6, $250. It's not sexy, but in 6 months, you've just cut your spending in half, and couple that with another big win, and that is hundreds of dollars of savings each month. I love this way of going about cutting your expenses because it's sustainable. I've gone and done the no eating out challenge for a couple times, and yeah, I may save some money on that month, but the next month I just go right back into my old habits and sometimes spend even a little bit more money. Lesson number 4, trusting the system. Once you have all the numbers in for your conscious spending plan, it's now all about trusting the system. As I mentioned before, Ramit is a big fan of automating your finances, but in order to do this, you need to have all your accounts set up to take out money from your checkings account at appropriate times during the month. Take this illustration for example. When your paycheck comes, it will hit your checkings account. From your checkings account, money will be taken out to handle all your fixed bills. Then the money will be taken out to go towards your investment accounts and savings, and finally whatever is left over is yours to spend guilt-free. Just a note, if you are automating your finances, it's wise to leave about a month's paycheck in your checkings account just to account for any errors that might come up. Once you have this set up, you've done more than a majority of people, so you should give yourself a pat on the back. Lesson number 5, optimizing and enjoying your money. Now that the system has been set and you're enjoying the fruits of your labor, you may start to think about some financial goals that are coming up. It may be that you want to start saving for a wedding, or you want to save for a down payment for a house, but you realize with your current savings rate, you're not going to reach your goal fast enough. But the beauty of that is that Ramit's conscious spending plan that he gave earlier, those numbers are just a baseline to work with. You can tweak those numbers to better fit the financial goals that you're trying to achieve. Maybe you want to accelerate your rate so you can save up for your wedding. So you start focusing on the big wins in your conscious spending plan. You start cutting out expenses and putting it towards your savings goals. But what if instead of cutting out expenses, you focus on ways to earn more money? See, we sell ourselves short when it comes to the amount of money that we can make. So for you, this could be negotiating a raise with your boss, looking for a new job, starting some freelance work, or starting a side hustle. Find an avenue that works for you to help you start earning some extra income on the side to make the system work for you. And finally, it's important to live out your rich life. There will never be a magical number that you hit, then all of a sudden you'll want to relax and sit on a beach. That will never happen. Our brains are wired to always want the next thing. So it's important while you're on this financial journey to enjoy the fruits of your labor and to enjoy life. My name is Yash, and this channel is all about helping you live your best life through book review videos like today, video essays on the mindsets of my favorite athletes and characters, and tech reviews to make our lives just a little bit easier. If any of those topics sound interesting to you, please consider supporting the channel by hitting the subscribe button below and being a part of this growing community. I hope you found this video helpful and you're on your way towards living your rich life. With love and respect, Yash.